Good morning. Let me get my camera situated. Today's Spirit Chat, I'm going to talk about something that I think is very exciting. I mean, it's a little more interesting than the usual non-scientific stuff, but basically, the first thing I need to tell you about is called epochs in the Great Year. So I doubt you can really understand that very well, so I'll try to explain it. This is the Great Year. So this is our Milky Way, and we're moving along this great year. Now, inside all of these, you see is another wheel, and there's like cycles inside of cycles inside of cycles. We are one of these little dots. These little dots right here are called epochs. Now, I personally believe it has something to do with DNA, but it also has to do with the hidden history of the world. So what most of us aren't told, or I know you've all heard of it, Atlantis. So all the teachings from the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Greeks, the Phoenicians, the Hindus, Scandinavian, Norse, all these myths, everything, those are teachings from Atlantis. Those are about the divinities that still exist, and we'll get to a point where I'll teach you about harmonizing divinities one day. Now, if you want to know about the kings, the queens, and the heroes from Atlantis, you can read the Odyssey and the Iliad. Now, the only remaining islands we have are left, the only remaining parts of Atlantis we have left above land are Spain, the Canary Islands, and the Antilles Islands. Now, there's also a lot of treasures left from Atlantis, and these are located in the Gobi Desert. It's where all the treasures and technology from Atlantis currently reside, and they are guarded by gnomes that will kill you if you tried to go dig up anything in the Gobi Desert. If you don't believe in gnomes or fairies, I challenge you, go to the Gobi Desert and try to dig up an Atlantean treasure and tell me what you find. So the epoch we're in right now, each epoch is like an era. This is where race comes from. So our root race right now and our epoch that's coming to an end, we're reaching the Kali Yuga part of the Great Year, and our epoch is now ending like the Atlanteans, but our root race, our DNA is Aryan. The first Aryans were in Central Asia. Then the second epoch was in India and South Asia. The third epoch we know as Babylon, Chaldean, and Egyptian. Then we have the fourth epoch, which was Athens, Greek, and Rome. And then we had the Anglo-Saxon epoch. And then we had the South American epoch. And now we are in the melting pot. Everything backfired and went astray, and so we've created the melting pot in North America. That is our final section in this epoch. And then we'll face destruction, whatever, apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. It's not literal. It's we're all graduating. We're getting our revelations and apocalypse and all that shit now. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going through, and hopefully that explains a little bit better, about the hidden history of the world. Now I'm going to go way deeper into this eventually, and I'm going to talk about this crazy lady named Queen Catabet, or as we called her in the Bible, which is also has Atlantean origins. Everything from our alphabet comes from the Phoenicians. That's Atlantean. Our language, Atlantean. Our technologies are catching up to those of Atlantean. Now, we're nowhere near what they could do with their science of consciousness, but we're not too far behind them. And then we will get the treasures out of the Gobi Desert, and we'll have a lot of exciting things are going to happen here in the material realm. So it's not all about, enlightening and leaving here. There's a lot of exciting things God has for us here. The great divine spirit who put us here, the one who sent us, our mothers and our fathers. And when you look at me, just know you're not looking at me, but you're looking at my maker. Hopefully that makes sense. That's a riddle for my sister. All right. I'm going to go in and start my new job pretty soon. So wish me luck. It's June 6th. Breathe it in and let it out. Don't forget to hold it for a second and send it underground. So I'm going to teach you guys something on the closing note called pranayama breathing. Do this. Close one nostril, breathe in. And let out. I'll do it with the other nostril. So this is called pranayama breathing. You're going to close your first one and breathe in. Close your nose. Then send that breath down underground. Visualize it literally going down to your buttocks. Send that breath way down underground. Hold it. Visualize it swirling down there, red swirling, and let it out. Send it underground. Let it out. Do that 7 times a day. 1 full pranayama is in. Send the breath down. And then out. Clean your nose before you do it. I got a boogie. But you get the point there. That is called pranayama breathing. What it's going to do is whenever you first breathe in, you have one side that's dominant. Okay, now Jesus taught us how to do this, y'all. He just did it in riddles. He didn't call it what he learned in India. It's called pranayama breathing. Wide is the gate, narrow is the way, or something like that. That's what he said. He's talking about breathing. Sending it underground. Now what that's going to do if you do that when you wake up 7 times, or before you go to bed 7 times, it's going to cause spiritual awakening. It's going to awaken what we call the Kundalini serpent. The Kundalini serpent's right down here. It's an energetic serpent that literally raises up your spinal cord. That's your Kundalini. And that's the climb. That's climbing the tree of life. That's your tree of life. So when you climb it up here, you do that with pranayama breathing. 7 times. Now you intone certain sounds when you do it that vibrate certain parts of that serpent and raise it. But right now you just want to get your breathing track to where we breathe like Atlanteans, where we breathe normal again. Pranayama breathing. And I'll be teaching more from a cool book that my spirit guides have had me holding on to for a while, and I'm finally reading. It's called Ayurveda and the Mind. It's healing of the consciousness. And so I'm going to become a real medicine man. And then, that being said, with love and light, I need to get in here and take my drug test and do my paperwork and then get to my doctor's appointment. So I love you guys. Till next time, this has been Spirit Chat. And remember, breathe it in and let it out. Rise, Kundalini, rise.